Hi, my name is Bruce Winton. I'm the Area General Manager for Marriott International here in the Philippines. And, over the years, I've learned that leadership is about service. It's really, for us in the hospitality industry, service is in our nature. But really as a leader, when you're leading a large team of people across multiple disciplines, at the end of the day, you need to be there to support them, to enable them and empower them to do the very best job they can do and to be the best versions of themselves. In this episode of Notes from the Boardroom, I'll share lessons I've learned over a 35-year career that's taken me around the world with this great company, Marriott International. Having worked around the world in multi-cultural and diverse environments, it's really taught me that, number one, people really aspire and need the same things in the workplace from their leaders. They need to be listened to. They need to be understood, or at least feel that they're trying to be understood. And they have to feel that they have a voice at the table, not just a seat at the table. So, and I think that that crosses cultures with all the diversity in the world and all these various cultural norms and management hierarchies, et cetera, et cetera. I think people just want to feel that they have a voice at the table and that they're being listened to and that their contributions are being recognized. In Marriott, we have a great question that we're always encouraged to ask, and that's, what do you think? Some people are intimidated by that question. Other people are excited by it. But at the end of the day, if you give people a chance to share what they think, you're going to get better outcomes all the time. My wife's Filipina, and we met 25 years ago in the US and got married, had a couple of kids, and I was working for Marriott, and we'd had a few vacations in the Philippines, and this hotel, the Marriott Manila, was being built, was being developed at the time during one of our vacations back in 2007. I got a nudge from my mother-in-law, said, "Wouldn't it be great if you worked there someday?" And then, the inner workings and the beauty of our company, being a global company, and always looking to open the doors of opportunity for its people. I was able to make that happen. It wasn't a direct route. It took some time. It took a few years, but we made it happen. So that was the inspiration and the catalyst for the move to the Philippines initially. And since then, I've become, well, of course, professionally, emotionally connected to the Philippines. And we started with one hotel, and now we have 13 hotels, and we have a double-digit pipeline. So to be able to see that grow over my tenure here is really rewarding. To see the people that I've worked with and hired, to see them grow and develop their careers, become the future leaders of our company, is really inspiring. I think the reason for staying is growth. If there's growth in your career, for all of us, then there's opportunity. And for example, people ask me all the time, why have I stayed with one company for 35 years? Because it's a very unusual story nowadays. But when I started with the company, we had 500 hotels, and now we have almost 9,500 hotels over the span of my career. So if you think about that, then that's a reason to stay in the Philippines. There was always growth, there was always opportunity, there was always challenge. And so if you have all those things, there's no real reason to look elsewhere. The real key is listening. Listening skills are some of the hardest skills to achieve, successfully. People look like they're listening, people think they're listening, but if you're truly listening to somebody, you will find out what they need to excel in their role. And so I think the best thing that we can do for our teams as leaders is to truly listen to them and see how you can better support them so they can be the best version of themselves. Marriott's a very structured company. We've got lots of standards, SOPs, local SOPs, you name it. But at the end of the day, it's the execution of those on a consistent basis. And so that really comes down to training, confidence, of the individual, and empowerment and encouragement, right? We're very focused in the beginning to make sure that we orientate and educate and train our teams carefully. But then after that, it's really about, leading by example, catching people doing things right instead of catching people doing things wrong. Once somebody's done something right and it helps, and they've been recognized for that, it helps them, it builds their confidence, and then they can just repeat it. Empowerment is a tremendous tool, and it's sadly lacking across the service industry. You go to places and people say, I don't know, or I can't. But empowerment's also scary. Sometimes people are, they lack that certain degree of confidence. So, can I do this? And so, you have to really encourage them and then celebrate them when they do it, so they know that they can easily repeat it. And then they can become more independent thinkers, because every scenario is different, and every customer has different needs. And so that, you need your staff to be thinking independently. So you have to give them all the training, yes, but most importantly, you have to give them the confidence that they can use that training, independently in that moment, listening to the customer. And then that's where your brand comes alive. That's where you deliver your brand promise. Because, I kind of wear this pen. I wore it deliberately for this little chat. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to our customers. And we've got, 240 million Marriott Bonvoy members that have an expectation, an emotional connection with our company. And it's up to us to maintain that promise, deliver that promise. How do you capture the essence of what your brand means and ensure that everybody in the company kind of feels the same way, understands it the same way, and delivers it to the customer the same way? Because we all have our biases, we all have our own opinions and things like that. So if you take, for example, customer has a request, if the individual who's receiving that request emotionally and personally thinks that's an unreasonable request, I would never ask for that, how does that turn into a successful outcome for the customer? So, Marriott's secret sauce, as we call it, I think it begins, the one example I can give is I've been with the company for 35 years. The average tenure of a general manager in Marriott is 25 years. That's the average. We have an amazing amount of longevity and tenure in our company. And that's because we put people first. We create a great environment. It's challenging. We have lots of goals, lots of targets, KPIs, all that kind of stuff. We're a very results-driven organization, but we genuinely provide an environment that takes care of people. The biggest challenge is the individual. And the answer to that challenge is put people first. Take care of your people. They'll stay with the company. They'll be happy. When happy people, take good care of your customers, and then continue your career. Open the doors to opportunity. Let your people grow. They'll grow into these new business units instead of always hiring from the outside. Of course, we have to hire from the outside, and we have to keep growing. We're a growing company. But when people join our company, they see what's happening, and they say, I like that. I want to be a part of it. I want to stick around. And so, we've got industry low turnover rates, and that's how we answer the challenge. Marriott's a management company. We operate hotels either under managed agreements or franchise agreements. So we rely very heavily on our business partners, the developers who build the hotels, and decide that they want one of our brands. And I guess the question is, why would you want a Marriott brand on your hotel, and why would you want to engage with Marriott to operate your hotel? And so the answer is quite simple: is performance. Over time, we need to deliver the expected performance for our business partners. So looking at the expansion in the Philippines, I can safely say that our one or two early hotels made a very positive impact. We work very closely as a company across the market. Everybody knows everybody, and everybody feels that they're very much part of a family, the Marriott family. And, it's exciting. We have, task force that we send to the hotels to open the hotels, so that we've got all the experienced people working side by side with the new hires. We have countdowns. We call them like a 10-day countdown, where we really make a big deal out of it in the 10 days running up to opening the hotel. So, it's very kind of seamless, and it's just part of our DNA. The biggest change is pure and simply there's just a lot more hotels. When I came, I could list off a whole number of different branded hotels that were non-existent in the Philippines at the time. So, the hospitality market, the tourism industry has grown exponentially. Of course, we still wanted to grow some more, but it has grown a lot. It has become more and more world class. It's standards are rising, expectations of the consumer are rising, options are increasing. Just in the food and beverage world alone, maybe the hotels used to be the place to go, and now there's just thousands more restaurants all across every market, and the hotels have to compete differently and be even better than before. Our event spaces have become bigger, better. The Philippines has, become a destination for major international events, even more so than it was in the past, and more regularly. So, it's definitely maturing over the years. It's becoming more competitive, more professional, and at the heart of it all is that warm, unbeatable Philippine hospitality. So that's always been there, and but now we're even polishing it up, making it even more professional, more skilled, more world class. The whole world comes to the Philippines to hire people, right? Anywhere in the world you go, whether it's a cruise ship, the Middle East, Australia, Canada, Europe, US, everywhere there are Filipinos working in the industry, and they're at the center of it all, and they're delivering the best service, and they're making the biggest impact on customers. It's a well-told story, but can never be told often enough. First, hospitality is what a great industry. When I tell people I meet for the first time, they ask you what you do, and I say, I work for Marriott and I work in the hotel industry. Suddenly you become one of the more interesting people in the rooms, When you start talking about hotels, travel, tourism, luxury, people get excited. Food, events, everybody's got a vested interest. So it's a fun and exciting industry. It's also challenging, stressful, hard work, long hours, is not always glamorous behind the scenes. So the first piece of advice I would say is get into it because you love it, and make sure you love it, because you have to love it, otherwise it will kick your butt. Second of all, people say, how can I be successful? There are thousands and thousands of people. When you start at the entry level, you're there with just millions of other people, and how do you start to rise to the top and differentiate yourselves from your peers? And I always just tell people, I say, if you can go home at the end of the day and actually look yourself in the mirror and say, I brought value to somebody today. Could be your peers, could be your supervisor, could be your guest. But if you can go home at night and say, I brought value today. I didn't bring challenges, I didn't bring problems, I didn't bring issues, I brought value. Then people will recognize that value and you will rise to the top. So it's a great industry. It is evolving all the time, like every other industry. But at the end of the day, it is really a group of people coming together to take care of people, to give them fantastic experiences, whether it's service, lodging, food and beverage, events. It's fun, it's interesting, it's tasty, it's yummy. We love it. And, just bring value every day and your career will take care of itself. We can just look forward to even more growth and expansion. There are so many markets that still can be developed further. I think the opportunities are far-ranging. They're global opportunities. I remain very excited about the future of hospitality and the opportunities that it can create for young people entering the industry now. Yes, technology is shaping our industry, and as it is every other industry. But I think it's more of a complement to the core of what we do, rather than the overarching. This is the future is technology. How can we use technology to enhance the future? It's not going to take over what we do entirely. So yeah, but you know, jobs are evolving. You know, people should be willing to explore things they didn't think they would explore. They need to be, you know, comfortable being uncomfortable and challenge yourself. I certainly wouldn't be here today if I had not been asked to do things that I never thought I would be asked to do. And some of those things made me quite uncomfortable in the beginning. And in moments question whether or not I'd actually made the right decision or was doing the right thing. And then over time you realize, I'm so glad I did that. I'm so glad I managed through that challenge. So, you know, looking ahead over the years, you know, I see a lot of optimism for our industry, a lot of fantastic opportunities for young people coming into the industry to challenge themselves and, you know, go out there and grab it, you know, whether you want to stay home or see the world. Hospitality is on your doorstep. Okay, so maybe I'm a traditionalist in some ways, but I would say as a leader, as a GM, best thing I can do for my team, for my guests, is to be visible. Now, if instead of me spending 4 hours making a PowerPoint presentation for my corporate office, if AI can help me make that PowerPoint presentation in 5 minutes, then I get 3 hours and 55 minutes to spend with my guests and 3 hours and 55 minutes to spend with my associates, my employees. So that's the way I choose to look at AI in our industry. I don't look at it like it's suddenly going to depersonalize. I think it can help to streamline processes, data reporting, all the kind of stuff that's part of our industry, you know, to allow us more time for human interactions that are the core of hospitality. So I'll leave it at that. Hopefully I've come across as somebody who's passionate about hospitality today, and I hope that anyone who decides to choose our industry comes into it with that same level of passion, because that's all you really need, is a passion for people, a desire to bring value to any given situation, a mindset of I'm willing to take a risk or two, and you know, and be empowered, take a risk, make a decision, and you know, this can be a tremendously fun environment. It's not. We don't just sit in an office all day. We don't stay home and work from home all day. You know, we you know, you gotta love people, and if you do, what a great environment. You know, people are here having fun, eating well, living well, and experiencing life well, and you're in the middle of that every single day. So, you know, I hope that those listening can, whether you're a customer in the future or an employee or both, you know, hospitality industry is a fantastic place to be, and I'm glad I chose it as a career.